Perfect.
Well, hello, friends. This is Dr. William Spady. Spirit Partners is our video site, and I have with me again today my dear friend and teacher and mentor, Thotme Schnitsius. Um, it's been a while since we've spoken. I'm very eager to hear what his group has to share with us today, as well as he. Um, I've prepared some questions for the group, Tommy. Is that all right? Should we
Yeah,
proceed that way?
that's kind of where we're going. I think they were very interested to see if there's some questions that even the people might have after this session is over. If there's others that wish to provide questions to you, to them, then we can cover that too at some point if people feel a need to do that. So it's basically going to be a channel of the energies and the information that's in consciousness in this kind of realm of beingness. I'm just acting as a conduit, as I always do. And so I really didn't review any questions that you might have put together yet. It's going to be strictly them speaking through me. Um, so we'll just see where it goes.
All right. Well, I have a first question, and let's see how the response goes, and then I'll offer more as you speak.
So let's just take a moment to allow me just to be with them if we can.
Okay.
So you can proceed.
Well, thank you. My first question pertains to this phenomenon that we're all experiencing now called the shift. And what I'm wondering is when this shift has concluded, that is, when it has really come to a culmination point, will humanity be dimensionally separated, both physically and spiritually, based on their level of consciousness? That is, will they experience separate physical realities and locations, et cetera, et cetera? So, if that makes sense, let's go with that.
So there's a lot to cover here in this question, and we will do our best to help simplify the answer so there can be a common unified way of being with what is transpiring right now. But there's a multifaceted way of looking at it. So we have the shift of the planet, we have the shift of the solar system itself, we have a shift of the universe. And as we go into, say, the micro, we have a shift within the earth of nature. We have a shift of the animals and the plants and so on that are a part of nature. We have a shift of humanity as well. So it's multifaceted, and each level has its own properties, its own way of beingness. But to zero in on two of those facets, and possibly three, because the way the earth is shifting, it shifts the nature and animals and so on as well. And then talk about the shifting of humanity and the souls that are on the planet at this point. The earth itself has not finished yet shifting. There is much that is yet to be experienced. There has been a lot, as most people have noticed, on the planet itself from weather patterns. Um, they don't necessarily hear or understand what's going on geologically within the core values of the planet itself yet. The crust is changing, the internal mechanisms of the planet itself have become yet a little bit imbalanced to welcome in the shift of the earth. Now, the shift of the earth is very similar to the shift that the mystery schools have discussed with a particular soul or human being. It's very similar in that there's three levels that take place as Thotme has worked with others in depthly with the three levels of three bodies. So, as he would explain it to you, it would be the mental body, the physical body, and the emotional body. The earth has the same, say, levels of change that take place. It has its own capacity to think, if you would look at it as a mind in some respect. It knows what's going on. It is very aware of the shifting that's taking place with itself. It's very aware of the energies that are coming into it from the galactic core and even from universal properties that are way out, way past the galaxy. It also has a physical aspect, like a physical body, which you are seeing more of because it seems like the surface shifting that is taking place on the Earth can be a physical aspect of it. And so what you're seeing is possibly the ice caps melting, for instance, and weather patterns changing, more volcanoes erupting, more earthquakes taking place. So there is shifting going on. And because of those, say, changes, then weather changes happen more succinctly, that you see them more profoundly throughout the world, where patterns that used to be pretty similar in themselves have now shifted into other realities and producing different results. And this is all just part of the physical aspects of the earth changing itself. And then, of course, there is the feeling of Gaia from the mother, a feeling of connection, an energetic feeling of connection, not only with the galactic core and the universal properties of unified principle, but also the feeling of the inhabitants with Gaia on top of the planet and even within the planet, for there is inhabitants within the planet as well. And as those shifts take place and become more stable, then the energetic values and connections and feelings that the earth has for its inhabitants also shifts and change. And we might say all of this is going into a higher vibration, a higher vibratory frequency feeling that's going on to raise the percentage of the frequency and the dimensionality of the planet herself. Now, as all that happens, of course, then there is an offshoot to the inhabitants of the planet. We first will go into nature itself. There'll be some animals that become extinct because they cannot handle the frequencies that are coming in. There will be an adaptation with other animals. It doesn't necessarily mean it's all mammals, but insects and so on. The many aspects of the livelihood, let's call it, on the planet will shift and change, where some will be able to adapt to the new frequencies and some will not be able to. This is not a judgment in any form at all. This is just the beginning stages of a higher frequency, a higher dimensionality of what is available. You might say even some of these insects and mammals and so on will rise themselves into a new property, a new way of being, a new way of providing service to those on the planet and so on. So that shifting will be taking place along with the Mother Earth as she changes. Now, if we go to the human aspect of it, to the souls that are on the planet, there is still that understanding of changing from mental, physical, and emotional to a higher frequency in all three bodies. As those high frequencies become more available, as they have been very strongly in this last couple of years, there will be a dynamic change in those who are ready to make the change. Now, those who are ready to make the change are not judged greater or better than those that are not ready to make the change. But this is a normal shifting of energetic value, opening the door to new experiences and new opportunities through consciousness, through the unified field in the universe. So there's no judgment on those that are not ready to do it yet, for those that insects that are not ready to do it yet per se. But the planet will change. Throughout history of the planet, there has been many changes that have taken place um, in the, let's say, physical aspects of the Earth through Maya that have been noted by geologists. There is a shift that's been happening anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000 years consistently, and you are due for a new change. And we are not saying that to create fear. We're saying that it is a normal process, that this isn't an apocalyptic type of scenario where judgment is coming down and those that haven't been able to find themselves will be cast away somewhere. This is not the way unified principle works. In unified principle, there is dualistic, but it's a pure dualism. Thotme has talked about this in many workshops in the past, and it was hard for those that were there to understand what a dualistic, ego dualistic nature could have as a pure dualistic nature. The best way, in the simplest way, we can share that with you is that in a pure dualistic nature, there is no judgment. There just is. As there is a black and white, for instance, but there is no judgment upon one or the other. There just is. In that kind of dualistic nature, there is the opportunity to experience all things without a judgment of those things. So there is a pure experience of all things. And this is where a lot of souls, where the planet is beginning to go to, in the higher frequencies and dimensionality, which is above. And that's the only word we can use here. It doesn't make it better. It just means it's a higher frequency and it's above the lower frequency. As geology has shown in the past, the Earth has gone through many changes. Those changes have been noted, especially recently, to show that there have been many, let's call it volcanic eruptions that have taken place in the planet over many years. There usually is a super volcano, you might call it, that makes a drastic change in the physical environment on the planet. And it seems that these things happen, and they do happen in a similar time frame, which means they're cyclical. There's a cycle to them. And as the cycle happens, depending upon the souls and the inhabitants of the planet at the time, some are able to withstand it and find a way through it energetically, and some have to leave because it's too hard for them to stay. Those souls will go to other planets in the universe. They will inhabit other places that seem similar to where they are now to continue the work they're on. To say there's particular planets that you could point to and say, oh, somebody's going to this place, somebody's going to this galaxy, somebody's going to go there, and so on. It is up to the soul at a certain point to where they know to go to continue their journey of experiencing even a second dualistic nature, if you will, a second density, or a third density, or beginning to go into the fourth and the fifth density, or even higher. So those type of situations are not up to us. They're not up to the beings, if you will, at higher densities. They are only available to choosing through the soul individually as to where they wish to go. It becomes very obvious to the inhabitants of the planet right now by looking at those souls that seem to have more of a unified nature, which means they're souls that are able to do the best they can to first serve themselves to a higher frequency and then be able to project that frequency out to serve others in a meaningful way that you might say is perfect for them at the status that they're at. And status is not a hierarchy. Status is what their soul is able to take in at this particular time energetically. And there seems to be an intuitive ability for those masters that are here now, those old souls that are here now, to assist almost perfectly for the souls that are being sent to them to be served. So as the shift takes place, those souls are in preparation for whatever it is that they will be, let's say, drawn to as things begin to change. The earth is almost finished in its shifting from the physical aspect of things to an emotional aspect, a true feeling of where it's going to stop, where it's going to be as far as a let's call it a frequency or vibration or hertz level that is higher than what it's been before. The physical aspect of its own mastership is changed and completed, and now there's time left for it to energetically uh, find a stability in the level of frequency that it will retain to hold those who are ready to be held in that frequency. Many are not necessarily conscious of that, but are here to enjoy that frequency, even though they haven't really recognized the shift itself, which means that those who are really prepared and have done the work and have taken it upon themselves to open their hearts sufficiently to be able to bring this in are not necessarily any better than those that have not. The soul will instantaneously know that the time is perfect for it to move into this new energetic realm. And the service that that soul has done up to that point, even though it might not have been as conscious as those that are open, is just as important in the aspects of where they were and what they did to how they entertained and served to help the shift continue on. Every soul is involved in this. There is no souls that are not involved in this on the planet at this time. So to say that there's going to be some kind of a ritual, some kind of parting of the ways, where the good and the bad go from one side and the bad and the go to the other side and forever are going to be damned to hell, is only a man-made principle. That has never been true. What it is the experiences that have been placed upon the planet, whether they be harsh and cruel and terrible, are just as important as those that have been beautiful and joyful and incredibly amazing. Everything is perfect the way it is. That's hard for human beings to accept because then in this dualistic state, there has to be a good and a bad. And we're telling you now you're moving away from that to where there's going to be unity, there's going to be balance, there's going to be neutrality. And it's hard to understand. And even those that understand it in some way wish to see those who have been cruel and harming to be taken aside and have something done to their souls because of what they've done. But in the higher aspects, those things had to be done to make sure souls understood and woke up to the fact that they're ready to move on from this or they're ready to experience more of that. And so those things had to be placed. We did not make that decision. Nobody has made that decision. That decision was made and been left to go for everyone to experience through their own free will how things work in a dualistic nature. Many of you that are listening to this right now have been here a long time. You have come for hundreds of thousands of years and even millions of years. This is how long things have been going on. The science that's out there right now is just starting to uncover things that you did not see or could not or not know. Civilizations that came way, way, way before anything that is known through archaeology. It's been going on for a long, long time. There have been visitors on this planet to experience those things and have left enlightened and found a new way of being in the universe and unified things even deeper. And there are those who use it to look at, let's say, low densities that they never knew existed and want to experience what that feels like and how that moves them and so on. So there isn't going to be this separation understanding. Separation understanding is truly an illusion. It doesn't exist. Yet, in your way of living and how you had to come to where you are today, you had to live through many of those concepts in many different ways. But there is no separation. There's only oneness, there's only unity. And so I think we have answered all of the question per se. Um, and if Bill would give us anything else that has not been covered in the first question, we'd be happy to answer that.
You've actually indirectly answered all three of the questions that I have here, but I'd like to follow up. And just a point of clarification. The planet is undergoing an elevation of its frequencies, and a coherence will be forming around the three dimensions that you've described. It sounds from what you're saying like human beings who engage in the same kind of frequency, elevation, and coherence are more likely to then remain here with this elevated planet. And it is other souls that will be choosing to go to other places that are more accommodating of where they are. Is it is it fair to draw that kind of conclusion as opposed to as distinct from the conventional thing that people want to talk about is an ascension, ascending away from this planet? It's like ascending to a capacity to resonate more coherently with the planet.
This is a very profound question to ask. Within the planet itself, and what has been discussed, let's say, in the mystery schools from way long ago, is that there's different levels within ourselves, different dimensions that you hold within your heart, different dimensions that we hold here, different dimensions that the universe itself. There's thousands of different levels, if you want to say levels. There are more frequencies, more vibratory, and they keep growing all the time as things expand and expand and expand. Within the earth itself, you have what is held in place multi levels of dimension already. So, in some retrospect, as you look at the question almost is like, where will they go? Well, there is a level within the planet that stays at this third dimensional level. There is a level within this planet that goes to a fourth and goes to a fifth, and so on and so forth. The question also then can say that as you look out into the all, as you look out into the all, there is millions of levels of understandings, expressions, infinite abundance, infinite possibility, infinite uh, gifts, and so on, and levels of energy beyond any comprehension. As any soul begins to, what you would say, ascend, they ascend internally, they don't ascend externally. Unfortunately, for the definitions that have been created, which is very third dimensional, ascension sounds like you're going somewhere. You're not going somewhere. You are opening yourself up to a level that you already have. It's kind of like the work that Thotme has been trying to assist others to find. They have been stuck in a program, a, let's say, a mind game that's been going on, a brainwashing that's been going on for long, thousands of years. And that mind bending kind of a program, brainwashing program, has kept them stuck in one level. what he has been trying to help and assist others to do is break through that barrier, if you will, that they hold within themselves. And to be able to break through that, to get into the heart space, to be able to recognize from themselves that there's an infinite ability, there's an infinite, boundless understanding, feeling, experience that they hold of ascending within themselves and becoming that unified field. Once that unified field is even felt in a second, the stages begin to shift and change within that person of wanting to experience as much as they can, as opposed to staying stuck in the program, the brainwashing that has been there. So, just as the human being on the planet right now is walking through these type of scenarios, the Earth itself has the same kind of level. Everything has the ability to go beyond anything that's infinite at this point, and that's the all. It's all within each individual soul. It's within even some animals and opportunities that are on the planet for, say, whales and dolphins and so on. Some of these creatures have abilities beyond anything that we could ever have comprehended. And when I say we, it's human race. So as we move past all this, ascension literally means ascending within, which is kind of a weird way of saying it, I know. However, this is what Yeshua was even trying to project as he was walking around, was that the ascension isn't going somewhere. The ascension is finding yourself, and finding yourself with a capital Y, with a capital S self, finding within yourself the multi-level opportunities that are available to you, to really find the uniqueness and the unity that you hold within. As that takes place, there is a intuitive guide, let's just call it, and the church has tried to say that's the Holy Spirit in the Catholic Church and Christianity. Um, Yeshua would call it a friend that is sent to you in some respect, but the friend is within you already, and it's opening the door to the friend, opening the door to the spirit within. And the spirit isn't with everything on the earth. That's why I say even the animals have it. When that spirit is found in a very unique connection, a feeling, a sensation, then the understanding starts to become aware of the fact that they can stay here or they could go. They could go deeper here or they can go deeper somewhere else. They only can go to those places that match up to the quality of the frequency that they're at the time. This is why some will stay in the third dimensional realm, if you will, and stay on this planet, because that's what they know to do. There's some kind of internal draw, some kind of push um, that is available to them through the heart. It is a internal mechanism that their soul has, their spirit has, to say, truthfully, this is where you will find the most opportunity to continue your growth. And once somebody that rises up to a higher frequency finds that, they can start feeling other places in the universe they wish to go to. And so this is kind of like, um, what is it, your Star Trek kind of, beam me up, Scotty type of arrangement, where instead of Scotty beaming you up, you beam yourself up to wherever it is you wish to go, because you recognize that you can go to Andromeda, or you can go to the inner galaxy, or you can go to the Pleiades, you can go to other places instantaneously and start beginning to grow within those energies to go beyond where you are currently. These are choices that each soul has, each soul can um, entertain, if you will, and without judgment. You can go where you want. And we are here in our energetic realm, which is very high. It's higher than the ninth density. And we are here to serve and to support in whatever way you wish. We will continue to provide synchronicities, even at an eighth density, to help people find themselves, and they still will have choice, which probably leads to another question, Bill, that you would have: is there choice as we keep going in density? And we would say there's always choice. no matter where you go, no matter how far you go. And those choices that are starting to develop are not choices that are based in judgment anymore. They're choices of understanding that that choice is going to provide truly a new experience for growth and a depth of understanding within the soul. So, once again, these densities are within the earth itself. Right now is going to provide a higher frequency. And if you understood what we just said, understand there are many, many beings that you cannot see on the outside of this planet. When the earth raises itself up to its final, let's say, density that it's going to stop at and rest at, those beings that know this is happening are waiting outside to start inhabiting the planet at that density because that is where they're at. And they've chosen to come to this earth, to this Maya, to experience this way of being in that density on this planet. And we would say to you that you can't even count how many are coming. That's how profound this shift is. The whole universe knows what's going on here and is happening everywhere else as well. So these type of things are hard to accept in the third dimensionally thinking kind of way. But when you feel what it is that are words that are being spoken by us, you will notice that you are comforted by them as opposed to be in fear of what we are trying to say to you tonight.
Thank you. Um, as a person who has worked with you for several years, um, I want to bring my work, and I know this is true of others, to bring this kind of work and this kind of message to other people. And my one of my questions was going to be, it's been touched on just slightly in the your first response, but what can people who are more aware, more attuned, who've brought their vibration up, how can they best serve humanity now, those around them, okay, those with whom they're in contact, to bring this awareness to them that this whole shift phenomenon and potential enormous growth experience is there, because I think as one observes things through mass communication, etc., it's clear a vast majority of individuals are clearly not aware of this and not seeking what seems to be an inner growth experience.
For those that are in the know, if you want to use those words, those that have found um, their calling, if you will, of first serving themselves, which means they have walked the walk, as you say it. They have challenged themselves, have continued to grow, where there is a constant journey, as you know, here on this planet. Um, as they continue to grow, there's, let's say, an overall understanding between all of them as they continue to go. Not necessarily all at one time, but as they continue to grow, there's a certain aspect of it at a certain point in the growth, which says, there is nothing that I have to do, for it is sent to me to participate in when the time is right. So, what that means is basically the knowledge that you have reached within yourself, the opening that has taken place, the conduit that you have become of the different aspects of energies and infinite abundance, and knowledge and opportunities and possibilities has been opened. It cannot be closed now. And as that opening comes along the way on the journey, as you keep growing within, you finally find that you don't have to project it out any longer. You just walk with it. And as you walk with that opening, you know that those that are attracted to you or even actually being sent to you, because don't be mistaken that we do send those somehow through synchronicities to you in unique ways so they can retain your energy, even if it's unconscious. So there's nothing you have to do to them, with them, speak to them in any way. If you just be in their presence, that energy from you that you have worked on so long and now have become projects to them and settles within them. And when the time is right, they can either use it and continue to grow themselves. They might feel a difference immediately when they're there around you, and some do. Some might even look at you and say, "Who are you really?" Because you're certainly not the person that they knew when you were in grade school. There is a unique difference in the shift that has taken place. You all might even notice that in being in the in between state that you have been in for such a long time now. This in between state has been going on at least for 10 years, where you find that you're not in this world or not in the next one yet, but you're just kind of straddling in between from time to time, being caught over on one side and then caught over on the other side. And you can start now, especially feeling the difference because the earth is almost finished with what she is doing, therefore is affecting you even greater. It's almost like it's pushing you to make the final decision whether you're going to stay with the new earth and entertain the new beings as well that are coming in, or whether you choose to go somewhere else and be one of those beings actually that are like what's outside the earth right now. You're going to be one of those beings on a planet waiting for that planet to finish its um, density into sixth density, which is now you might be ready to go into. These are the kind of things that are starting to take place, and they're hard to conceptually look at. They're hard to be with because they're so past your mind. If you're still caught in your mind, then it's going to be hard for you to understand it all. But if you follow your heart, you'll know you already have it within you because it'll strike a chord. You'll have a similar feeling. You will notice the joy or the energetic vibration that comes to you in your physical body. It's like jumping for joy, as you call it. You'll notice that just in that one moment, and that this is the right direction to go. So, those opportunities are going to be there for everybody. But as you walk your planet, this isn't like it used to be, as well as Yeshua walking around and trying to um, let everybody know there's a new way and using it through voice and action and so on. Thotme, in his wildest dreams, would have never imagined that he would be traveling through South America. Never in his wildest dreams would he have known that. Yet he has found a way, and we have been asking him to go out and just go, not to profess anything. He has not professed even one word of spirituality to those unless they have asked where he went. Yet everywhere he went, he established that energetic field that he found within his heart, even if he didn't know he was doing it. Those that were ready to be attracted to that were attracted. He made friends that he would, in synchronicities, that if he had days to talk to all of you, he would be giving you so many opportunities and synchronicities that it just blew him away because of the situations that took place. But those are the kind of things that happen when there is no necessarily plan, put together, that is just an open vessel of bringing opportunity and feeling and sensation and frequency everywhere you go and knowing it's happening whether you see it or not. This is what's happening with many of the old souls on the planet. This is why you think 99% of the humanity doesn't get it, but we will tell you it's way more that do get it than you could ever imagine. They are ready for it. They have been ready for it. And they will make a huge change in what's going on. It's just that the rest of it has to take place first. Again, as we said in the very beginning, everything is perfect just the way it is.
I have a question that comes out of this, um, having to do with the distinction, if I can call it that, between religion and spirituality, and the distinction between the kind of work that I've experienced with you and others here in the Spirit Partners interviews I've been doing, and the kind of messages and the kind of understandings I was taught as a younger person inside of the religious context. Is there any kind of observation that your group would like to make about this distinction? Is it a false distinction? Etc. I'm not sure how much further to go with the question.
Yeah. Well, how you just ended it actually is probably the best way to begin it. It is a false it's just this the distinction. There is no difference between anything, because if there was and there is a definition that takes place, then it's a limitation that's placed upon whatever that is. Unfortunately, in the world that you live in the third dimensional density, everything has to have some kind of distinction so people can feel safe in knowing what it is. The simplistic way that we can say it, and actually Thotme even discussed this with somebody, a new client that he had today, and he has done this quite a bit over the years, is to say there really is a simple understanding, if you will, a simple way of looking at religion versus, if you want to call it, spirituality. One is closed, one is open. Religion is based upon dogma. Religion is based upon rules, regulations, hierarchy, control, fear, any which way you want to look at it. Those that say it isn't don't want to see it. They want to be trapped in whatever it is because they are fearful of saying that they have lost their lives into it and now it's wrong. The basis for religions, if you really do your history and you go back and you see actually the masters that came forward and the religions were based around them, you could see the basis of it was openness, not closedness. And that's a simplification. The governments have followed religions. Religions follow the governments because in both is control. Both creates fear. Both creates all the dogma. Governments have dogma too. Rules and regulations and how you must act and how you must be. Those days are over. Yet as you look at what's going on in your planet right now, you would say, my God, no, it's getting worse. It's always been there. You have brought it forward. You have brought it forward. The creation and the manifestations of openness to be able to see things clearly through technology is opened the door to the closeness that has been hidden for so long. You have opened yourself, if you will. We had a channeling not too long ago that said the human race in itself is going through the dark night of the soul. You know this concept. The concept is the very shadow that you carry and have carried in many lifetimes finally has come to a place where it has to be known. It has to be known so it can be dissolved, the attachment to it dissolved. Humanity, in its own way, is finally decided as a whole that it will go through the dark night of the soul to see all the cruelty, to see all the harm, to see all the incredible, incredible harm that you've caused each other. It has to take place if the dark night of the soul is going to take place. It has to be realized, seen, felt, known. No hiding anymore. It has to be that way to be able to raise consciousness up to that next density. That's how each individual soul does it. That's how the earth does it. That's how the universe does it. So humanity as a whole must do it as well. And when you get to this place of finally facing yourself in the mirror, and there's no place to hide, that's when forgiveness takes place. You are not there yet. There is still more to learn. The beginning stages of the dark night of the soul has begun. You can see it very clearly. Those that are old souls, their third eyes are open. They feel it, sense it, see it. There is no question that it's happening, and it's happening because it's perfect just the way it is. For humanity to cleanse itself and move into the next place, this is what takes place. But there are some souls in humanity that haven't had enough of it. And that is not a judgment. That is where they want to go. That is where they wish to be. And so they stay there. But to be able to rise up, if you're part of this, to be able to rise up past it, you must see yourself in the mirror. And you must forgive yourself, and feel the harm you've caused to others. Feel the incredible decisiveness that you've caused, the judgments that were so deep and so critical. You must see it all and feel it all to be able to forgive it all. That's the journey. And so now crisis and chaos is starting to come full on, not just in your own lives, but full on for humanity. And you can see those that are ready because they're forming partnerships. They're seeing we can get this through this together. We do not agree with what's going on anymore. We want to see change, and change that is stable, change that is heartfelt, change that is real, that moves into a place of unity, a caring for each other. It's happening everywhere. Instead of opening your eyes to the news and being depressed every day and seeing the things that they want to report to you to keep you in that state, open your heart every morning and feel how much of a brand new day it really is, because something has shifted in that time frame. We can also share with you that there is no time anywhere else. It is only here. You will have experiences that could go on for thousands of years, and you would think it's only a second. And you would want to carry it out for thousands of years because it feels so good and warm to your soul. This is what's awaiting you. This is what is going to happen, whether you wish to be a part of it or not. That's a choice that you make without judgment. We do not judge. No, nothing, no thing judges you. Wants to support you only in your journey, to assist you to ascend within, not without.
Thank you. I should have raised this point, I think, 5 or 10 minutes ago, and I'll do it as a conclusion. I realized as you were talking that 20 years ago, I was in Australia, and I had been introduced in a previous trip over there, a couple of trips, to a woman who I found to be a rather amazing psychic. And what she revealed to me in this episode in 2026, when I was with her for a couple of days, is that, and she says this very matter of factly, well, your soul has been a soul that has come to Earth when it has chosen, and it's also been in other planetary systems and out there in space, being other kinds of beings, etc. And now it's here for a while. And I found that to be unbelievably extraordinary. But you're basically saying that the soul can choose where it wants to be, go, do, serve, etc. And what you shared today makes me feel much more much more comfortable about that experience that I've always really had some doubt about.
Yes, there's much truth to what you say. The truth is hard to swallow, as your saying goes, for many. And the reason is because they want some kind of safety. They want to have an answer. They want a solution. And they search for that solution outside themselves. There's a yearning to go outside and find it because of the brainwashing, what's been going on for such a long time. The journey is within. It's been said over and over and over again through all those mystery schools. The yearning should be going inward. Once one does start that journey and starts breaking away all the things that tell it that it's not good enough to get there, that harm is only going to come to you, that fear is only going to come to you if you don't follow. Following the rules, following what has been put together in all this time and seeing it crumbling down has created a fear that nobody saw coming because they relied and became dependent so strongly on everything that was outside of them that it was all an illusion. It's hard to swallow. The truth is hard to swallow. But there's still a light when that realization comes. There's still a choice that can be made in that next moment to take a step the other way. That what you have been doing so long was part of your growth, and it's okay. And now you can make a shift and go the other way, and then make a shift and go another way after that. And after that, there is no death. There's a physical death, but there is no soul death. The soul goes on to experience all kinds of things in a third dimensional density that's very hard to accept because all we think we are separate bodies from each other instead of one whole unity. This is why humanity is going through the dark night as a whole, a unified whole. What your governments are doing from the top down is part of who you are as well. That is hard to accept. Yet it's true. You are part of that because you feel it. You can be in your leaders' bodies and feel what they are doing and know that you have had that feeling before. You have felt that in thousands of times, in lifetimes, whether it was on this planet or somewhere else. This is the only reason you know the feeling of it doesn't feel good. That's how you know. If you can't feel it, then you're not ready yet to move on, and that's okay. That's why you must stay and feel it. Many will find their way, many more than you could ever comprehend, and many more are coming. to be with you in it. They can't wait to partner with you. It's like you're coming out of a birth of some kind, and they're your parents, and they're so proud in that one moment, that instant that you were born, and the parents see you. They see your eyes, they hear you cry. The connection is unbreakable. It's profound. It's like your oneness beyond oneness in that one moment. These beings that are waiting to come here are like those parents watching you birth into a dimension they're already at, and they can't wait to share it with you. My head's having tears right now because he's feeling what it is that's coming, and it's so beautiful. He saw the beauty of Patagonia while he was gone for 5 months, and it struck his heart so. And it's so far past that beauty. This is what's awaiting you. You must choose it. If you choose that, good for you. If you choose to stay, good for you. Because you will have that experience. You will have it. No matter what. At your journey as a soul, you will have that experience. Yet many can have it now and will.
Thank you for this absolutely astonishing hour. It's
It's been a lot
been
of
it's
your time.
it's been a blessing. It's been a gift. It is so authentic and so freely shared. Please know on my behalf and those of our listeners how grateful we are for the work you've done and the messages you continue to bring. Thank you. Thank you.
We are honored.
Audience, there's little more that I can say. This has been a wonderful experience. Stay with us, tune in, come back for more Spirit Partners interviews, both with Thotme and the other remarkable people that I've been interviewing. And I thank you for your role and your interest in this shift that we're experiencing. Thank you and goodbye.